All right, folks, welcome to a City Council meeting, a virtual meeting for May 26, 7:10 p.m. I'm Mayor Jason Larry. Madam Clerk.
Councilmember Jimmy Clanton.
Here.
Councilmember Rob Turner.
Here.
Councilmember Jasmine Cobble.
Here.
Councilmember George Turner.
Here.
Councilmember Tammy Grimes.
Here.
Mayor Jason Larry.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Thank you, ma'am. All right. Councilman Turner, if you do us the honor, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Let us pray. Father, we just honor and magnify your name today. But most importantly, we invite you to be a part of this meeting. We seek your wisdom, your knowledge, your guidance, your anointing, and your presence in all that we do today. Let the decisions that we make as we come together in one mind, one body, and one spirit to do those things that are good, just, and right before you, but also to enhance the quality of life and the safety of our citizens in this great city. So Father, direct us, give us wisdom, give us understanding, but most of all, we submit and surrender to your spirit that you might be glorified in all that we do. And we honor you for it. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
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 All right, we'll try to do it in unison. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God,
indivisible,
with liberty
and justice
for all.
Thank you, folks. Approval of the council agenda. Mr. Denmark, while we're with council and with Mr. Wheeler, I understand there's been a development with regards to public hearings.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. There's some question about whether or not it's consistent with due process rights to conduct public hearings in a virtual setting. To be very candid with you, communities around the state of Georgia are struggling with this issue. And between the Attorney General's office and the Georgia Supreme Court and Georgia Municipal Association, we're getting varied responses. In my opinion, we do not want to open ourselves to the claim that we violated someone's due process rights because we failed to have an in-person public hearing on a zoning matter or the like. What I would suggest that we do is, if it's an application initiated by a citizen, for them to sign a waiver indicating that they, whatever due process rights they may have had in having a live in-person hearing, they knowingly and voluntarily waive that right and consent to a virtual public hearing. And sometimes members of the public, they want their applications to go through and they can intelligently waive whatever right they might have to an in-person hearing. But what I don't want us to do, I would not recommend that we do, is for the City of Stonecrest to say, this is what we're going to do. You're going to have a virtual hearing. And then if the person is later dissatisfied, they say, well, that virtual hearing violated my due process rights, and we would thereby be exposed. So until we get some definitive clarity about the propriety of these virtual public hearings, my recommendation would be to wait until we can come back in person, or if the applicant is willing to sign a waiver of any right that he or she may or may not have to a live hearing, then I think that would be acceptable also.
Mr. Wheeler.
Sorry about that. So speaking, I'm with in agreement with Attorney Denmark that we probably should hold off on have these public hearings until we are able to have it in public. For the simple fact that recently many of our rezoning applications have somewhat been contention have been lack of a better word I can't think of the word at this point in time, what I'm trying to say, but, you know, a lot of participation for these rezoning matters. So to be fair to the residents, I think we should allow it for them to be able to come in and voice their opinion in person. Some of the applicants are okay with that, and some are not okay with that. Some are willing or want to still move forward with the application. As far as signing away their due process right, I would have to speak to them regarding that matter. I don't know if some are willing to do that, or some are willing to just wait until we actually have, until we open back City Hall to have a public hearing. Again, that depends on safety measures that we put in place, how comfortable City Council actually showing up back in person to hear these proceedings. So it's whatever the City Council wishes to do. You just let me know, and I'll speak to applicants. Speak to the applicants and let them know what your will is.
I have a question. I don't know. Is it time that I can ask a question regarding this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What about the possibility of having City Hall open in reference to these applicants coming in? We stay on Zoom, and then we allow them to come in and speak from City Hall and make their presentation. We'll still have our distancing or whatever, but they at least have some visibility. They can talk, they can show us things, they can share things with us, and they can still come in and be somewhat live at that instance and not having something written. Is that a possibility? And then, of course, you know, you can have them one at a time or however you want to stagger that.
I don't know the answer to that. Is that legal? Can we do that, or does City Council have to be present for that? Because I don't know the answer to that.
What I would say is part of the public hearing involves the applicant being present, the public being present, and the mayor and council being present. That's the quintessential public hearing, when everybody's together and so the public can speak, the applicant can speak, and the mayor and council can ask questions. You know, so that's kind of the quintessential public hearing that we're referring to, and that would be the right that the applicant would have. From a practical point of view, Councilman Turner, that certainly makes sense, but sometimes the law doesn't follow practicality or common sense. The law has certain traditions and standards that exist because they exist. And if there's something from a common sense point of view that would be a little bit better under the circumstances, well, that doesn't always meet legal muster. And so it's difficult in a pandemic to say we're all going to come in one room, public, mayor and council applicants, and talk about an application for rezoning or whatever the case might be. Nevertheless, that's what due process requires. And until we're prepared to do that, then the only viable alternative I can think of is the applicant saying, well, I appreciate the fact that I have these due process rights, but like any other right, they can be negotiated and bargained away if I do so knowingly and intelligently.
So then let me get an understanding of the word present then. So when you said to be present, are you talking about being physically all together in one room?
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's that technical physical presence that's due process. And someone said, well, what difference does it make? Well, the law says it makes a huge difference, and maybe it should or maybe it shouldn't. But you know, I state what the law is, and not aspirationally what we would like it to be.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Wood, when is our planning meeting for June?
It's actually June 2nd. It's actually next Tuesday. I've already gone I've already gone to cancel the meeting, being that preferably we would just go ahead and cancel the meeting and then reschedule again for the new applications until there has been a set procedures and policies and how we would like to handle the rezoning cases moving forward. I didn't think it would be prudent to proceed and have the Planning Commission hear a case without clarification regarding if we could actually have the case. So those meetings have been canceled and then rescheduled again for a future date at this time, once there has been clear instructions on how we will proceed with the public hearings, either via Zoom or actually in person. If we do in person, what procedures would we have to put in place as far as public comment? would everybody be staggering in, staggering in? Would everybody, of course, doing 6 feet worth of distance? How would city council sit and so forth? So if there were to do it in person, we would definitely need to establish how we need to conduct this meeting. And same thing as far as virtual meeting, how we would like to proceed as well. So until that all has been, been ironed out, it felt like we probably need to hold off on having the meeting.
Councilman George Turner, I think you were speaking.
Yes, for Attorney Denmark, when you say waiver of due process, are you speaking of only the applicant waiving his or her due process?
Yes, sir. The applicant has the right. It's the applicant's right to have a live and in-person public hearing. And so that is the right that's at issue. And so the applicant would have to, if they so elect, to say, okay, I would consent to this hearing being conducted virtually. Now, as it relates to the public's right to be present, and that's where you may have been going.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Well, we have provisions for public meetings under the open meeting, because their right derived from the Sunshine Law, the Open Meetings Law, and we have provisions for that, and we can do this virtually. And so so from my perspective, that, while an issue, has been accommodated, whereas the applicant's right, we really are in uncharted territory there.
Okay, so we're not in a pickle when it comes to the public.
No, sir, because
that right to meet the applicant in person.
Right. But the public has a right to make comments on the application, but their rights aren't the due process rights that the applicant, him or herself, has. And for instance, we're having a virtual meeting right now where the public's rights are protected.
Gotcha. Okay, good.
Mr. Mayor, may I?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I just think that we should do whatever it takes to make certain we get these meetings back on schedule. I mean, some of these applications are timed. They're time sensitive. I mean, people can lose positions, money, a lot of stuff. It contributes to the opening of the economy for the United States and specifically for the city of Stonecrest. What I'm saying is, I like what Councilman Rob Turner said, in that, let's see how we can get the applicants, at least, and as well as our staff, small portion of our staff, back into City Hall. I mean, people are going to Walmart, people are going to, just about anywhere you want to go now. We're practicing pretty good safe distancing. And so I think we need to continue that with City Hall and find a way to make certain that not only the applicants are given their due diligence, but also there's room for public participation. Now, the public portion could be still held virtually. And, I think we mentioned that at a previous meeting, that, the city of Atlanta is being able to do statements or comments for public hearing over via email and what have you. So we still can use that method, but I do think we need to plan for a particular date in the future where we're ready to start having these public hearings. Because right now we might not have anything urgent, but I can guarantee you it's going to rear its head as certain as we are unprepared for it. So, I mean, we're talking about it now. I mean, I think we should prepare for it, and I think we should set a date, maybe July, middle of July, or something like that, because we don't know what's going to happen with this pandemic. We don't know, how people are going to treat, being out and about, even when they are allowed to come out again. And to Attorney Denmark's point, I do think we should have these waivers in place that people can actually sign these waivers, not just for the virtual meeting, but also for the in-person meeting, knowing that there might not be members of the public there as well. So I think, just the fact that we're talking about it, we can do something about it.
Okay. I also agree with Councilman Rob Turner. Maybe there's a combination of what we can do to make it happen. Oh, what does that mean? Oh, okay. I thought I heard some other folks coming in. Yeah, I also agree with Councilman Rob Turner about maybe we make it a combination of things and figure this out along with what Councilman Clanton said. So with that, but I'll take any more comments from council before I make my recommendation.
Yeah, I have a question. Attorney Denmark, if we were to offer these waivers to the applicants, I guess even prior to the planning commission meeting, then and let's say they said yes, fine, we'll waive it as long as we can, still have the meeting and proceed. Then we could still have the virtual public hearing and the virtual process as long as they agreed to waiving their due process rather, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So is it feasibly, Chris, could we offer that to the applicants prior to the planning commission, and those that agree, we put those on the calendar, move forward. Those that do not agree with it, try to either have an opportunity to speak with them and try to convince them to do so, or maybe think of some other alternative for those, but at least we're not holding up everything for those who do agree to waive their due process and allow us to have the virtual setting. And hopefully maybe there will be less that are not okay with it and more that are, so that we're not holding up progress. But I think if I understand Attorney Denmark clearly, it's going to be difficult to do the hybrid and still meet the legal guidelines for being present and giving the full opportunity for due process. So and maybe I heard that wrong, but I thought that when Councilman Turner offered the hybrid solution that Attorney Denmark, you came back with, that's very difficult to still provide the due process with that kind of hybrid. So although that maybe sounds like a good solution, I think if that still leaves us on the other end of, are we okay legally or not, then maybe the better solution is to offer the waiver. For those who agree, move those forward. Those who don't, we just say, well, we'll have to wait and hold your application until we all come back in public.
Yeah, the hybrid, if I understood Councilman Rob Turner correctly, would involve the mayor and council not being present, but merely the applicant being present. That would not get us there. If the mayor and council were present and the applicant were present, and the applicant could make a presentation to the mayor and council, who would be the ultimate decision maker, whatever documents, information, would be able to submit those at that time, and so on and so forth. And only the public was giving their comments by email or virtually or by mail or whatever the case might be. That might pass legal muster, but as long as the mayor and council was present along with the applicant, and the applicant's entourage, that might include attorneys and project managers and a whole lot of other people. So we would have to anticipate that we're going to have a lot of people in a room. And so we're just now determining whether we're prepared to do that yet. And if the answer is yes, then we could have them in live. But if the answer is no, then doing them virtually with the applicant consenting through a knowing and voluntary waiver would get us there.
Was that similar to what you were thinking about, Councilman Rob Turner?
Yes, it was. Mm-hmm.
Okay, then I don't want to cut council off. Any more comments before I make a suggestion?
I know you're trying to get an agenda approved, but I did want to make a comment or two to Mr. Wheeler. And that is that we get this information in a very, very timely manner so we can make intelligent decisions if we stay virtual. Just want to put that in there.
No, Councilman George Turner, that's where I'm going. That's where I'm trying to go. While with the comments, it's not a problem. Then my suggestion would be at the hearing council would be to remove the public hearings from this agenda, and I think we need to go so far as to decide a date, and I'm going to have council to chew on this, a date in June, maybe the second meeting in June, to do what Rob Turner has suggested, Councilman Rob Turner, which is to we're live along with the applicant being live, and then still having, if I heard you correct, Councilman Turner, and then have the citizens still zoom in and
Yes.
Denmark, would that satisfy what we're talking about?
Sure.
Okay. So
that requires us to be physically in the building.
that will require us to be physically in the building at the end of June.
So, Mayor, I just want to I don't want to throw a monkey wrench into this, but there's a provision in our zoning orders that states that once the application has been heard by the Planning Commission, it needs to be heard at the next scheduled City Council meeting. The application that was scheduled to be heard tonight has already been heard by the Planning Commission. That was heard back in March. So if we were going to have this case, I would suggest that we do it in the first first City Council meeting in June, because again, technically we're way past that. So again, I would say we probably need to move with haste if that's the way we want to proceed, to get them heard as quickly as possible, and have the public give their comments as well.
Okay, Council. Based on the information that Mr. Wheeler just gave us, again, how do you all feel about having the applicant and ourselves only for the first meeting in June to comply with this being heard?
Excuse me, Mayor, maybe I misunderstood you, because I wasn't talking about us being present physically. I was just talking about the applicants being present physically there, and then we would still be in the Zoom mode, and then we could see that and they can share that with us. So, and that's what Attorney Denmark said, that that's not possible. But now you're suggesting that we just come in there physically? Is that what you're saying?
Based on Mr. Denmark's comments and based on Chris Wheeler comments, I think that's the only way we make it, unless Mr. Denmark, you tell me different.
Well, Mayor, I think that if the applicant says, I'm okay with my public hearing being virtual, and they waive whatever right they would have to an in-person hearing, and they do that in writing, then we can conduct the public hearing virtually, like we're doing this meeting.
Oh.
And so, but because it's their due process right, and any right that you possess can be negotiated or bargained away if you do that knowingly and intelligently. So if the applicant says, yeah, I know I have a right to an in-person hearing, but my project can't wait, I'm losing money every day, so I would consent to this hearing being virtual, and I'll consent in writing so we can move this thing along. Now, if they're prepared to do that, then any suggestion that we violated someone's due process rights would go away, because they made a decision in their best financial interest to move forward in a virtual way and just waive the right to be physically present at a hearing.
Okay, Councilman Rob Turner, but that was your understanding?
Yes, yeah, that was my understanding in reference to what he was saying earlier. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so okay. Then I'll have to amend my suggestion, and that would be we will still take this off the agenda, but we would prepare for the next council meeting with the same folks, but have signed a waiver for us to participate. Is that what we're saying, Mr. Wheeler?
Yes, sir. I'll have that. I guarantee I'll probably have that right by the end of the week.
Okay, Council, how does that suit everybody?
May I add?
I'm fine as long as I'm not in the building.
Right.
Right. That's right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and those who don't agree to the waiver, I mean, I just suggest that they have to, we'll just say, well, you either agree to the waiver or you'll have to wait until we get back in person.
And I think that's fair. Is that legal?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, well,
Good.
good.
Okay. Then with that, with regards to our agenda here, then we'll remove the public hearing for the ordinance for rezoning the application. And Mr. Wheeler, it's under new business also. Would it come off of there also, or would it stay there?
Yeah, I mean, it is new. Technically, the agenda was already approved, so it would be new business. Actually, I don't know. Hold on, Megan. They're not. Well, yeah, I guess it would be old business since I guess you made action to remove it. So, not totally. I'm not really sure on that. Megan, can you chime in?
Sorry, I was on mute. So if we remove it from public hearings, we need to remove it from new business as well. So remove ordinance for rezone application RZ 20-001 from public hearings and ordinance for rezoning application RZ 20-001 from new business. And that would rectify that. But in the motion, you might want to state you're deferring it to June, whatever that June date is in June, because that is some sort of action.
And should we add with contingency that the applicant agrees to a virtual forum?
Yes.
Because it could very well say no.
Right.
Yeah. All right. All right, Council, anything else we see on the agenda that needs changed or moved?
So if I'm hearing this right, Mr. Mayor, item number 11 under new business, item A and B, were those actually going to be hearings today, or because it seemed like we would have skipped the planning commission here?
Only, I'm sorry.
I was just going to clarify that A required a public hearing, so we would remove that one. B is a lot combination for parcels. It does not require a public hearing.
Okay, gotcha.
Got it. Okay, all right. Glad we talked that out. Okay, so with that, I'll take a motion to approve the council meeting agenda with said changes.
Mr. Mayor,
Sure.
I make a motion that we approve the said council meeting with the said changes, stated changes.
All right.
I'm sorry, are we still discussing?
Are we?
We still can.
That was a second.
I'll second, and then now, Councilman, you can go into discussion.
Okay.
So Councilman Clinton, your discussion.
Okay, I'm sorry. So item B, for whatever reason, it seemed like that should also be moved back as well. I mean,
well, it doesn't require a public hearing.
That the lot combination is just a procedural step. Again, you guys have done this before when it comes to lot combinations. A lot combination is just a procedural step that that the staff has to put in forth city council. There's no public hearing or anything regarding that. It's just an official step that you have to sign off on it due to the number of lots. Again, staff has already reviewed and it's been reviewed and approved by staff. We just have to go through this additional step because it's the way it's written in the zoning ordinance.
Okay, so I guess the applicant, whoever it is that is applying for these lot combinations, they do not need to be here for this?
No, they do not need to be here because again, they've already given it to staff and staff has already reviewed it. And normally if the lots had been 3 or less, it wouldn't come in front of city council. It would just been a sign off by myself and the mayor and then sent to DeKalb County Superior Court to be recorded. But due to the number of lots that have to be combined together, they just had to go to the additional step for approval from the city council. The same thing when you do a final plat for a subdivision, it's already been reviewed by staff. You're just officially signing off on the matter.
Okay, no problem. Then I'll save additional comments until we get to that item.
Good deal. Okay. Any further discussion?
Can we just restate the motion for clarity?
Councilman Rob Turner.
The motion, I made a motion that we approve the virtual meeting agenda this evening with stated changes.
I thought that Megan made a point that we needed to clarify the public hearing, moving the item for public hearing.
I can put in the minutes that the suggested changes were moving it to June 8th, and with contingency that the applicant agrees to the waiver form. I can put that in the like the comment section above it, and then motion to approve with above stated changes. If that's out of council.
Yeah, I was just double checking because you made that comment. Okay.
Very good with everybody? Very good. All in favor? District 1?
Aye.
District 2?
Aye.
District 3?
Aye.
District 4?
Aye.
District 5?
Aye.
Mayor? Aye. All right. The council agenda has been approved. All right, council, we're going into our approval of the May 11, 2020 City Council meeting minutes. Give you a minute or so to refresh yourself.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
call your attention to item A on the Roman number 6.
You can tell me, Councilman.
It says motion 2 was made by Councilman George Turner to approve the April 27, 2020 minutes and ask to include special call to preface and was. I think something got cut off of that, and that needs to be fixed. I can tell you what it should have been.
All right, we have Madam Clerk right here.
Okay, that was in reference to the special call meeting that we agreed to on the item 11, item B and item C for external auditor and internal auditor. We agreed to have a special call meeting to address those 2 items. And somehow we're having trouble getting that stated in here. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, I will correct it. I was confused. I thought that you wanted me to add special call to the beginning of April 27th council meeting minutes, but now I understand what you're saying. So I'll make that change.
Yeah, I just played the tape back at the last meeting, and when it says that we agreed to have an executive contract at the next meeting, that was not what we agreed to. We agreed to have a special call meeting was the agreement for those 2 items. Okay, all right, that was all that I saw.
Okay. Anybody else? Seeing none, I'll take the approval for the minutes with those changes.
Yes, ma'am.
Sure.
Move for approval of the minutes for May 11th with the stated changes for item 6A.
All right. Minutes have been properly motioned for approval and the changes. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, probably moved in second. Any further discussion? Seeing none. District 1?
Aye.
District 2?
Aye.
3?
Aye.
4?
Aye.
District 5?
Aye.
Mayor? Aye. All right, minutes approved. We're going to our presentation portion of our city council meeting. I miss this the most, all the things that we do. When we talk about people, we honor folks, we recognize them. It is the highlight of my day. Mr. Jonah, who has the 2020 retired administrators?
Excuse me, you broke up there at the end.
Who has the presentation for the retired administrators?
Oh, Megan, do you have that updated list?
Yes, I do. Let me see if I can share it on my Surface Pro, let's see.
Megan, if you've not taken off personnel information, please don't share it.
Well, I've received the latest one from Iris. Was there changes?
It's 11 people. You have just the names?
I have 11 people, their names, and their titles, and what schools they were at.
Okay, all right.
The same list we went over, Councilwoman.
Okay.
All right. I have to switch gears, so hang on one second for me.
Councilwoman Grimes, if you'll do us the honor when they come up, please. For the, I want everybody to know that you took great care in making sure these people were recognized. So I'll be honored if you.
I'll just say this has started out just as one young lady who has been instrumental in the community. Her name is Mrs. King, and she's a Bowie Elementary mainstay. And she came to me and she said, "Grimes, I need you to do something. Whatever you need, King, I always do it. I need you to get to the mayor and I need him to recognize my friend, Miss Ramsey." I said, "You got it." And so I reached out to Iris, and Iris and I started having conversation, and she talked about your support of education, Mayor, and it morphed from just one person to all of the schools in Stonecrest and the retirees. So Iris has worked tooth and nail with me, and helping to get this to this portion, and there, I think, a little bit more that she'll do a little bit later, Mayor, with you and these people who've given enormous amount of years to the field of education. Nobody recognizes educators like educators, so this makes me excited that their names will be called. And I talked to all but one, and let them know that their names would be called tonight, and that Iris, you'd be in touch with them later. So I got good phone numbers for you. And thank you, Mayor, for allowing this to take place at this time. So that's all I'll say.
Okay, Plez is going to share his screen because I'm not allowed to share mine.
Well, do you want the names just read? I mean, I can just read the names if that's what you want, Mayor. I mean, it's up to you. I can't hear you, Mayor. You're on mute.
I said that if players can share the screen, then you can read them. But if he can't share the screen, then read them anyway. Either way, you're on deck.
Yeah, unfortunately, I cannot share my screen either. So if you'd like, I can read the names off, and
yeah, that's fine. You can read them. Mayor can read. It doesn't matter. Go ahead.
Awesome.
Well,
awesome.
Ms. Grimes, do you have the list?
Oh, I have a list. Yes, sir. I do.
Do you have the 11 names?
I do.
We'd be honored if another educator would honor the other educators.
Oh, see how you put me on the spot. Look at you. All right, hold on just a moment. Always ready. Iris. All right, here we go. This list. And I'd like to also thank our school board member, Miss Vicki Turner, for helping me to get this information. Dr. Trisilla Weaver, who is the District 5 Regional Superintendent for DeKalb County Schools, and Dr. Tart, who's the Region 3. So, you know, Stonecrest, we combined a couple of areas together with the Lithonia in terms of the school piece. So we have, come on, Mr. Albert Bell. He was a PE teacher at Stoneview Elementary. For his, he has over, I won't even start with the years. I'll wait later because I'll get that all mixed up. But Mr. Albert Bell, coming from Stoneview Elementary. Miss Edge, also coming from Stoneview Elementary. She was the school nurse. Miss Glenda Hoskins, Spanish teacher at Martin Luther King Junior High School. Now, we know that MLK is not in Stonecrest, but because Salem Middle School is in Stonecrest, so is MLK. That's my liberty, Mayor. We also have Miss Nettie McCrary Brown, special ed teacher coming from Murphy Candler Elementary. Elder, and I'll make sure I say that with the most reverence, Elder Barbara Middlebrooks, the gatekeeper, the administrative assistant to the principal at Miller Grove High School. Miss Patricia Ramsey, kindergarten teacher at E.L. Bowie Elementary. Mr. Sampson, Alan Sampson, health and PE teacher at MLK Junior High School. Miss Thomas was an ELA, it says administrative support, but she's actually an ELA teacher at Arabia Mountain High School. Miss Harriet Thompson, school nutrition assistant at Lithonia Middle School. Now this person was at Salem Middle School when I entered in 1995. Miss Tracy Williams, she started out as the registrar and ended up as an assistant principal. So proud of Tracy. So I know her personally. So congratulations to Tracy. And then last but not least, Miss Janice McDonald. And she's a special ed teacher over at Lithonia High School. So I'd just like to say thank you for all of those years of education. Thank you, Dr. Tart, again. Thank you, Dr. Weaver, Ms. Turner. Just thank you, everybody, for making this possible. And Iris, I'll be in touch and give you all that you need to reach out to them.
Okay, great.
Thanks, Mayor. Appreciate you. Thanks, Liz.
Excellent. This is why we had you do it. All right. Certainly want to say congratulations to the hardest working people in show business. If you all don't know, my wife is a teacher, career teacher. So I hear it, see it, eat it, breathe it every day. It's like I'm a teacher. So good stuff. I just so much applaud what you all do, for our kids and our society. Thank you very much, Councilwoman Grimes, for being able to recognize those folks. All right. We have no appointments, so we will go to public comments.
Unlike the past few meetings, we have quite a few. I will start by reading them, and I can forward the public comments to you all as well if you'd like. So the first one comes from Jeremy Scott of Stonecrest, Georgia. He would like to comment, code enforcement within our city. While I've generally been pleased with responsiveness of code enforcement, it's clear that our code enforcement is much more reactive than proactive. Many of the code complaints that I have submitted over the last couple of years should have been easily spotted by a code officer driving through the major corridors in Stonecrest. However, I have been disappointed to find that in many instances, my code requests were the first for a given property. As a city, we are still setting our baseline. It is imperative that code enforcement take a proactive approach and begin citing business owners and plazas within our city under their own volition. Seeing code enforcement officers in plazas and businesses should become commonplace. We need to set the standards for the city we want to be. And once that baseline has been set, we can relax and take a more reactionary approach. Grime-covered buildings and overgrown landscaping shouldn't be commonplace here, but unfortunately it is. That was the first one. This one has a lot of attachments with it. I'll just read the body of the paragraph and then I can forward the email later. Good evening, Mayor Larry. Due to COVID-19 protocol, I'm submitting my public comments via email for the Stonecrest City Council meeting, May 26, 2020 at 7 p.m. On Tuesday, May 19, 2020, Mr. Christopher Wheeler, Planning and Zoning Director for the City of Stonecrest, notified me by email that Metro Green Recycling has a development project in Stonecrest. The entrance is on Snapfinger Woods Drive and the property abuts Miller Road. In answering my question, how could this development take place without community input, Mr. Wheeler replied, the city doesn't notify residents of private developments unless the development needs approval from the city council. A copy of his email is attached for the official city council meeting minutes. Will any Stonecrest elected official identify if you approve the Metro Green Recycling project? Are any Stonecrest elected officials aware that communities of color are adversely impacted by waste facilities and similar businesses. See research document links attached below. Is the mayor or any council representative aware that increased air pollution, which will undoubtedly increase if this project proceeds, is a trigger for asthma attacks, which can lead to death? Do you know that the DeKalb County Board of Health and the CDC have statistics showing that African Americans have a higher percentage of asthma than other races and ethnic groups? See research document links attached below. Within the 3-mile radius of this project are at least 6 schools: Gupton Jones College of Funeral Service, Camp Jewel House, the Academy of Scholars, Miller Grove Middle School, Miller Grove High School, and Leadership Preparatory Academy. Furthermore, there is 1 hospital, Emory Hillendale Hospital, several medical practices, including Kaiser Permanente, a number of single-family home neighborhoods, many apartment complexes, and the Lou Walker Senior Center in this area. Surely we do not need to expose these communities to increased air pollution, noise pollution, and industrial truck traffic. Personally, I am baffled how the City Council anonymously approved a project of this magnitude without informing residents, perhaps because this development is literally on the easternmost boundary for Stonecrest. You thought no one would oppose this construction. However, my wife and I stand unified against Metro Green Recycling moving to Snapfinger Woods Drive, Miller Road, or anywhere in South DeKalb. Rest assured, we will marshal our resources to inform and involve other stakeholders in South DeKalb and beyond to oppose this building project. Can we count on your support to stop the development of Metro Green Recycling in Stonecrest? Will you go on public record to voice your opposition to this project? Will you help us find a way to repurpose this land for a project that will add value to our community and not cause adverse impacts to our health and property values? I look forward to further dialogue with you, the Stonecrest City Council representatives, and your teams. Thank you for your time and consideration. Sincerely, a concerned South DeKalb resident, Mr. Tony Wilson, 4931 Windsor Downs Lane, Decatur, Georgia, 30035. Whew. Okay, the next one is from Piper Bunch. Dear Stonecrest officials, I am a 30-year resident of DeKalb County and a homeowner for 26 of those years. I recently discovered you all have allowed a concrete recycling plant to start building in my residential area. This cannot happen. This is going to ruin our quality of life as well as our home values. This literally going up in our backyards. We expect white officials to do this, but we do not expect Black elected officials to sell us out. We are asking that you all stop this development. Please do not do this to our communities. The chemicals that have been shown in a 2017 study will contaminate our communities. The noise from the trucks will also affect our quality of life. No one advised us of this development, or we would have come out in full force. In fact, there was opposition to this in January 2002, but you all still voted for it. There are other areas in DeKalb County for this. Send this to North DeKalb County. Why is it being dumped on predominantly Black residential area? Elections are coming up. In addition, we may also need to seek legal resources if this development is allowed to destroy our community. Please stop the plant from being built in our backyards. Thank you, Piper Bunch. The next one is Renee Cow. Dear Mayor Jason Larry, City Council members, Economic Development and Planning Department, public comment. On behalf of Citizens for Healthy and Safe Environment and concerned Stonecrest residents, it is extremely disturbing to hear that there is a petition for rezoning to allow a cement recycling facility in the city of Stonecrest. Are you aware that the cement industry is one of the primary producers of carbon dioxide, a potent greenhouse gas? Are you aware of what greenhouse gases are doing to our environment? Do you understand that concrete is used to create hard surfaces which contribute to surface runoff that may cause soil erosion, water pollution, and flooding? South DeKalb has poor air quality. Please do not approve another polluting industry for Stonecrest. Cement has adverse environmental impacts such as acid rain, water quality deterioration, and visual impairment. Our residents are currently suffering with respiratory illnesses such as asthma, COPD, and the like. We are coping with a pandemic. A recycling facility on Miller Road, Stonecrest, Georgia. Who do you think will want to walk out of their homes smelling a recycling plant? Children will have trouble breathing. Do you think these projects will build a better Stonecrest, a tourist attraction, or increase property values? When will the best interest of residents be priority? Seeking an innovative, healthy, and vibrant Stonecrest. Sincerely, Renee Cow, President, Citizens for a Healthy and Safe Environment. All right. And the last one is from Maxine Williams. Greetings to, I believe this was for the public hearing. But greetings to Mayor Larry, Council Member Rob Turner, my councilman, and citizens of our city, Stonecrest. I, Maxine D. Williams, am a 31-year resident of the Somerset condominium community. Let me simply share the growth and changes I have witnessed in the county. 2001, the mall at Stonecrest. 2005, DeKalb Medical at Hillendale, which is now Emory at Hillendale. 2006, Blue Walker Center, current member of this awesome facility. Others include Lithonia Industrial, I-20 Interchange, the Brightstone Senior Community, and most importantly, the creation of the City of Stonecrest in 2017. Surely the best is yet to come. I am in support of the Blue Ridge Atlantic development in the creation of workforce housing to continue with economic development that is so vital for our families and our communities. With sincere thanks and best regards, Maxine Williams. I have one more. No, I already read that one. That's all.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. We've heard our public comments. We've deferred our public hearing, and then we'll go to new business. A has been encapsulated with the actual public hearing that we changed. Mr. Wheeler, lot combination.
Sorry about that. Yes. What's presented to you in your packet is just simply a lot combination of a private development happening off of Lithonia Industrial Boulevard. Again, it's just a lot combination where the developer is trying to develop a commercial project, but needs to combine all the 7 parcels to finish his master development. Staff has already begun to review and sign off on the project. It just needs the approval of City Council for it to be recorded by DeKalb County Superior Court. Any questions?
I have what is in text in terms of the parcels involved and what is on the map? There appears to be a conflict.
Say that again for me one more time, Councilman.
What I'm looking at in terms of your text in item B, then I look at the map that's attached to it, and there appears to be a conflict. I see an item 01 where you have track 5. And where you have track 1, I see that as track 2 on the tax map. Now, if I'm looking at something that does not apply, let me know. But these parcel numbers just are totally contrary to what is on the tax roll.
I'm not understanding what you mean by tax roll. Are you really, hold on a second.
Okay, when it comes to examining exactly where this is located, which is what I did, I went to the tax roll, looked at the parcels that you have identified as parcel 16-132-111. And I tried to find that, and I found it, but it doesn't match what you have on your map. The map shows it as track 5, but on the map for the tax parcels, it's shown as parcel 01.
I'm sorry, can you say it one more time? I'm catching up for you really quick. I'm pulling it up. You said track 5?
The one that you have is track 5.
Mm-hmm.
I looked it up and it is shown as parcel number 16-132-1-1. And the same thing with all of the other 7. Only 1 matched out correctly, and that was that little parcel of track 3. Follow me?
Yeah, yes, sir. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, apparently, I guess there is apparently be I was saying a typo, but apparently there's a misnumbering of the parcels. I can go back again and represent this to you again to the City Council with the correct track numbers, according to the DeKalb County Tax Assessor website. And I will be honest, the tax assessor website is not always current or up to date, and usually that's why we always have surveys go out there and survey, and then you have it go to the DeKalb County Superior Court, the DeKalb County GIS to review and create new tax parcel numbers. Because again, some of them numbers are not always correct, as it appears that DeKalb County sometimes creates duplicates of tax parcels. So I would need to reach out to them to double check to make sure the tax parcels are correct.
And that's going to be important when someone looks this up in the future and the numbers don't match. It's going to create
you have to remember, Council President, this is a whole new track, a whole new track. This is component one parcel. So those parcels, they will know.
Was it before it was converted to just one track? And what will that one track number be?
I don't know. That depends on the DeKalb County GIS. They have to create that.
Oh, they were created. Okay.
Yeah. So again, we have no control over the tax parcel ID numbers. That solely is with DeKalb County GIS. They are in charge of creating the tax parcel ID number. So I would have to rely on them to make sure that the tax parcel that you're showing up on the tax assessor website is correct. Because again, those are two different departments where GIS creates the parcel ID number, and then they give that to tax assessor's website. Again, tax assessor website might always be up to date according from my experience dealing with them and dealing with GIS. So again, we just go from a procedural standpoint of do they meet the width requirements, lot size, and so forth. But the actual parcel ID number, that's going to be GIS to actually create those tax parcel IDs.
Okay, and the tax parcel IDs don't necessarily coincide with the track numbers.
Yes, sir. From what I've reviewed, but again, I can double check again if you do not feel comfortable with that. I can always double check just to make sure for you and come back to you and present to City Council.
Okay, because I'm not sure if this is ready, just in my mind, because maybe I need to get a life, but I spend time going through these maps, and this one just doesn't match for me.
Well, Mr. Wheeler, if I may ask, how long would that take? Could you have that back by next council meeting?
Hopefully so. Again, it's me trying to get a hold of the tax assessor's website and GIS and to find out if these numbers are going to be or are correct. Because we're basing information off the tax assessor's website, not GIS website. Again, GIS creates the tax parcel ID and gives that information to the tax assessor, and we base our GIS off the tax assessor website and GIS data. So I need to make sure that it's all complete. Now, I will do my best to get it by next City Council meeting, but I do not know the working time frame that GIS or the tax assessor is working on.
Well, I got a more important question, Ben. If that's the case, how crucial is the alignment of those parcels and the numbering and track numbering, as Councilman Turner pointed out? How crucial are those? I mean,
it's important. I would say, I'm not gonna lie and say it's not important. It is important because again, these numbers, these are the existing track numbers which you are combining together that we're no longer no longer exist. So I would say it is important and key to figure it out. So we don't list a track number that's associated with another track that's not part of the lot combination.
You know, because this is as we all know, this is a crucial project, but we also know that we definitely want to cross all our T's and dot all our I's to get this done properly. So, I mean, you know, I want to make certain that everything is done correctly and it's done right, but by the same token, I want to make certain that it get done because this should be just an upvote. I mean, it really shouldn't be a big issue. 'But, you know, having pointed out that we have to get those tracks, you know, in order 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 to get those tracks, you know, in or numbering a line, I think it's important that we actually do that. But I do think it's important that we can get it done as quick as possible. But and to say this in public, I mean, I have no other choice but to say that, hopefully DeKalb County is not going to be a holdup in this process by, going through that GIS process, because I don't want to be talking about this 5 months down the road.
No, sir. No, I'm very confident I can speak to GIS. I'm just not. I don't know what the working time frame is for the tax assessor. GIS. I speak to them regularly, so I have no doubts that I could speak to them and get some remedy regarding that. It's just the numbers associated that are on the tax assessor that I'm not aware of how quickly I can get that rectified.
Help me with something, Mr. Wheeler. The numbers that you have here, 16,125, 153, 16,124, these numbers here.
Yes, sir.
These are numbers you acquired from where?
These are the numbers that are associated with the parcel ID numbers. So again, so this is identifying the parcels for GIS standpoint. So when GIS pulls it up and they're looking at all the parcel ID numbers, they will know what parcel ID numbers to eliminate and then create a whole new parcel, which they would assign a new parcel. Is identifying and updating their map and their map to say, hey, these parcels no longer exist, but there's one big parcel right here. Because we have 7 parcel ID numbers, we have to get rid of these parcel ID numbers and create one new parcel. And that's what we're trying to do now.
Then I'm comfortable that you have the correct numbers here in association with being able to go to the next step, which is creating the one parcel, correct?
Yes, sir. Again, from my standpoint, I believe that the parcels were correct, but again, rely on the tax assessor's website because again, sometimes it's not always up to date. I just kind of rely on GIS to let you know.
And we have our own GIS, correct?
Yes, sir, we do. Yes,
exactly. And I think she does an outstanding job. So I don't know, just one guy's opinion. I don't know holding this off for you to double check what the DeKalb has on their end. I don't know if that helps us in the in our situation here to get these lots combined, because we know what they are lot number wise. We know what they are GIS wise, and we know what the number will be assigned. I'm kind of in a fog as to why we would go back and double check it against a source that may or may not be right, or may or may not respond.
May I?
Sure.
Each one of these parcels should relate to a parcel number. I want to see which one was which. And you cannot use these parcel numbers and tell which one applies to which one of these parcels. And that might become a problem later on when you have to review this as to how we got to where we are and which parcel belong to which. If you don't get all 7 during the development of it, you are eliminating 7 parcels and creating a new one. You need to be able to show specifically which ones were eliminated. And right now I cannot tell. And perhaps with the city's GIS versus the county's GIS, and I'll admit I did use the tax GIS. That's one I'm familiar with using on a regular basis. And the numbers match up with whatever piece of property I'm looking at. And that's why this one did not match with these tracts. And that's why I have the question.
So then let's have a reasonable compromise. How about we approve it with the conditions that the planning and zoning director, who is Mr. Wheeler here, confirm the numbers. Then we won't have to hold it up, and then he can make sure it's right at the onset. And then we'll achieve both goals at the same time. Any further comments?
Got a question.
Mayor, what would be the recourse if they don't match up and we've already approved something that?
Then he can get it changed.
I mean, if the numbers don't match up, then I'll have to go come back and present it to you guys again as well. I would do that anyway because I want to make sure that they are correct, as Councilman Turner stated.
So if the numbers don't match up, then there's no harm done as far as the city wise. I mean, because you just come back through council again to with the correct numbers. Is that correct? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Okay.
So I've got two questions. First one is there something happening with this project between this meeting and next meeting where we feel like if we wait, you're going to ruin some plans that we don't know about?
Typically, a development cannot. So you really cannot develop a part of one big parcel across property lines. I mean, that's not really feasible. It's not allowed to do so. So you always try to combine it into one parcel, because again, for building setback wise, landscaping and all that, it just is very cumbersome to try to develop one huge building across 7 different parcels. So it's always so. Yes, you want to kind of go ahead and approve that so they can, without actually having any issues beforehand. I mean, it's just easier and less cumbersome to do it that way.
Right, but I mean, do you know of? I guess, do you know of anything that the project has like pending right this second that if we don't approve it today, they're going to be like, yeah, you're holding us up 2 weeks?
Yeah, yes, ma'am. Because again, currently right now they're out there clearing and grading. So for them to actually put the infrastructure in and so forth, the parcels have to be combined together, because once building goes out there to do's and inspections and so forth, they're going off the plat. They're actually the site plan. And again, if anything shows otherwise, you have to be combined together. It kind of conflicts to what our development.
Okay. So I guess this is part B to that question, and because I still have another one. But so we had a special executive session about this project, and then we passed a resolution last meeting about this project. Did we not know any of this 4 more weeks ago? That all of a sudden now there's like oh my God, you've got to make these parcels one. I just find it odd that this is such an emergency, but yet we've talked about this project for like 4 weeks now.
I don't think that's a position at all. This is part of the process of doing all of this. It's not an on-fire emergency with regards to if we're doing it or not. It's just part of the process.
Well, yeah, I mean, I understand the process. I'm just asking. I mean, we had a robust discussion last meeting about the resolution, and this never came up. So I was just curious on why this, between the executive session and the last meeting, why no one brought it to our attention that the parcels needed to be combined.
Councilman Cabo, I would state that for any development project like this, even especially from a residential development, they won't be able to put in houses without the final plat approval or any lot combination. So if something was to hold that up, then the developer couldn't possibly install lots and homes and so forth, because it's essentially the same thing. I would do this for any development, not just for one that you guys had an executive session on. I would state that it was a time of essence for any development to get the lots combined together or the plat approved.
Well, Mr. Willard, we had this exact same activity happen, I guess it was the latter part of last year, actually out here in the parks of Stonecrest, where the developer was looking for just approval for the lot combination. And it's a fairly common process. It's something that basically I was scolded at that meeting by our then city manager, acting city manager, Julian Jackson. He publicly said that, look, we cannot not disprove this other than just a technical matter. It's just a formality. It's not really even a big deal process. It's just the last phase before a builder can combine lots to actually go ahead with building. So there's no way around it technically, other than the technicalities that Councilman Turner pointed out. But otherwise, it's just something we just generally normally approve. That's why the builders and the developers don't typically even show up for these things. But having said all of that, that was my question. My last question to you was just that it's certain, or to make sure that the city is not held in a harmful look or view by approving it and then having you to go out and find out whether or not these lots match up and then come back to us. So, I mean, whether we do it now or next week, I understand Councilman Carbo's, the way she addresses it as if there's no hurry, then why are we worrying about it? But, since it's just a normal process, it's something that we typically won't even discuss to this length. And the only reason I brought it up was because, my discussion was going to be towards who's the owner of the various tracts and whether these tracts were all owned by the same people. Because I had a constituent reach out to me who said that, he felt that the people that own parts of these tracts wasn't at the table, which they obviously don't have to be. But, the point was, that was going to be my only question about it. And
that was my second question, was to ask that who owns all 7 parcels?
Right. But, it still goes to I just digressed to Mr. Wood.
Or not who owns them. Are they all owned by the developer today?
Yeah, from my understanding, yes, ma'am. Again, it's the technical reasoning of why you can't develop parcels, develop a big project on multiple parcels. It's just not done. It's just not done that way. It's not best practice for planning and zoning to do
right.
To do that way. So again,
I understand that part.
And also just as well as, and sometimes, like I say again, financing is tied up into parcels and lot parcels being combined together as well. I know that's just not a reason, but it's sometimes, like I say, it's other things that are for a developer has to consider for the reason why you have to combine the parcels together. Now, this is what I've been told by them, but there's a reason why some of them are in such a hurry to combine the parcels together so they can move forward with developing the site. I don't know if that's the case with this project, but I've been given that explanation from other developers.
Okay, well, and that's so I guess question 1B rolled into question 2 was, 1, is the combining of the parcels holding up some process for them that, from now to the next council meeting would absolutely be critical to the completion of their project? And then if so, is that because they don't own all 7 parcels and they need to, or do they already own all 7 parcels? So theoretically, they can continue doing what they're doing because they own them anyway. And we're just going to get the administrative content of this correct so that we are approving something that's correct when the motion is stated. So do they own all 7 parcels?
From my understanding, I believe so. Like I said, I assume that anytime somebody combines all parcels, they own all the parcels.
And it's not a part of their, you don't have to prove that you own it when you ask for that?
I'm answering the question. I know for a fact Trammell Crow owns them all. This I know for a fact.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good to know. And okay. And so are you saying, yes, this would absolutely impede their progress if we got the information correct before we approve it?
Yes, ma'am. It's because, again, they're just clearing the land because, again, you cannot construct a building on multiple parcels due to setback, landscaping, and all technical stuff that you guys would want me to hold them accountable for. That's the same thing. I would be doing the same thing. You cannot put a building on between 2 different property lines because it has to meet the setbacks. We have to go through a variance request to reduce the setbacks and so forth.
So, Mr. Wheeler, I'm just concerned. I don't know. It's just something about, I don't know. You're saying that you're, as far as you know and you think so. I think I really would like to know that you know for certain that that something big would happen if they weren't able to get the combination go ahead.
If the combination didn't go ahead, then I mean the project would have to stop at this point in time.
For the 2 weeks, I'm just saying, just for the 2 weeks to give you time and to give us time to come back together.
I think 2 weeks is a reasonable. Is more than enough time to figure to get that, because again, I'm not worried about GIS. GIS I can get those answers quickly. It's the tax assessor that the councilman is referring to, that he's referring to the numbers that tax assessor's website is on. I'm more confident about GIS because GIS is the originator and creator of these tax parcel numbers. So if they match up to what we have, then I'm fairly confident that the tax department may have not been updated or they do have the correct information.
Okay, my last question. Are you certain that if we don't give approval tonight, that the project is going to have to stop until?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I am good because again, you do not develop a parcel again on multiple. You do not develop a huge project on multiple parcels. Again,
why didn't they ask us this earlier, Chris? Do you know?
Because again, it's the procedure. It's once you have to get through. You have to go through the LDP process as well before you even do a lot combination. If you don't go through the LDP process, there's no point in you combining the lots. You have to make sure that you get approval from the DeKalb County Water, Sewer, GIS, state, and so forth. There's a procedural step that you have to go through: LDP, lot combination, final plat, and then your model homes, and then your building homes. That's just your normal land disturbance permit and constructing a residential development or a commercial development. And usually lot combination comes afterwards. Some people will submit beforehand, hoping to get approval of the LDP. Lot combination before the LDP is issued. But some people decide to go ahead and submit for the LDP process because that takes a longer time to get through. Than your lot combination. Because again, lot combination is just a procedural step that most time is just yay, nay, or just a review and approved by staff. It takes a longer time than that. So normally that's why most people will just wait to do a lot combination because it's simple, yay or nay. Did staff review it? Yes. Does it meet all the standards, development standards set by the zoning ordinance? Yay, and then send it to GIS for the review and creation of the tax parcels.
The mayor's compromise is pretty reasonable. I mean, we can't hurt ourselves by, according to what you're saying, and if our attorney agrees with that, we can't hurt ourselves by moving forward. Then I think we should move forward. I mean, because if the numbers don't align, then we can come back at our next meeting and undo this.
So Chris, all right. So Chris, are you saying this is the only thing that will hinder that? Nothing else would be a problem?
Yes, sir. Yes, that's the only thing that would hinder that. It's just the combination of these lots, and that's it.
Yeah. So you're asking for a conditional approval?
Yeah. Yes.
So the biggest issue I have with this is not being able to see that these are owned by one individual or one company. I'm surprised that in a lot combination process, you don't have to prove that.
I'm sorry.
that you own them both.
The owner's signature should be on the plat. Actually, I take that back. So the owner's signature should be on the plat. And again, they have to certify and stamp that as true. So it should be on there. Because again, that's used because it's a final plat that's being recorded by a superior court. So I would assume no one's going to falsify and say that they own the parcel and have it recorded. So.
And so we have that?
Yeah, it's in your packet. It should be in your packet.
Can you tell me what page that's on?
It should be page number 1.
Yeah.
Page 1 in the packet?
No, page 1 of the plat. Sorry.
And I mean,
so are there 7 signatures? Is that what you're saying?
No, it should be 1 signature, but should be 1 signature. Because again, the plat is just showing you the parcels and then what the parcels look like at this point in time, and then they show you what the parcels look like once it's combined together. The plat is just simply stating that this parcel is owned by all the parcels are owned by one owner, and that they certified the parcels are correctly and so forth.
Yeah, I see the signatures on page 1 of 7. But the thing is now, if that is not true, for instance, if there ends up being multiple owners, then that make this whole process null and void too, right? Legally.
Yeah. I mean,
we're not going to bind anybody to this just simply because we pass this in city council right now.
Say it again.
We can't bind these parties to this agreement or to this plat just simply because we voted up or down. We can't break the law by our votes, technically. So that's both a question and a statement. So I mean, we have attorney online and we have Mr. Willer. So if they misrepresent something on this form and we voted up, then we're not bound by that. Is what I'm trying to say.
You're correct, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
So with that, Councilman George Turner, I'm going to make sure I make the motion correct here. I'm going to motion that we approve the lot combinations for parcels that have been listed with the condition that Mr. Wheeler the director will verify all numbers with regards to the plat.
Verify that they match.
Verify that they match. All right. I have a second.
I second that.
Okay. Any further discussion?
Tell me again if they don't match.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I will.
I need to record it.
Again, and I'm not to. I don't want to. Maybe I don't need to discuss. I'll give my speed after you guys vote. So.
No, tell me again if it doesn't match, Chris.
No. Yes, ma'am. No. Again. I would let you know. I'm not going to sign and have the mayor sign off if something is incorrect. No, I would definitely let you guys know if something is incorrect. Because again, I will put it right before you guys again, just to make sure it is correct. Because again, the mayor, and it has to go to Superior Court for it to be recorded. So no, ma'am, it will be.
No harm to the council, no legal, nothing. We can't be held accountable for anything if the numbers don't match up. Is that what you're saying?
No, ma'am, because no.
And city attorney, is that what you were saying too?
Response, yes, ma'am.
Okay. District 1.
Yay.
District 2.
Aye.
District 3.
Aye.
4.
Yay.
District 5.
Yes.
Mayor. Aye. All right. Thank you, Council. We have no old business. I will take if so desired by council, take a motion to go into executive session.
I move that we go into executive session for personnel matters.
All right, properly moved. And second. District 1.
Nay.
District 2.
Aye.
District 3.
Aye.
District 4.
Aye.
District 5.
Aye.
Mayor. Aye. We'll break for executive session, Mr. Bell. We'll start back in 5 minutes for executive session.
Okay. Okay, we're live.
All right, Council, I'll take a motion to leave executive session and come back into council meeting.
Mr. Mayor, make a motion that we end executive session and come back into council meeting.
All right, properly moved. I have a second.
Second.
All right. All in favor? District 1?
Aye.
District 2?
Aye.
District 3?
Aye.
District 4?
Aye.
District 5?
Aye.
Mayor? Aye. We have returned for city council meeting. Mr. Deputy, any comments?
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
There were 2 items left on the work session. We're going to deal with that after we close this meeting out or before we close it out? 5 and 6.
What's the pleasure of council? We can do
So
it
it's
now.
on the work session agenda or the council meeting agenda?
Work session agenda.
Well, I guess we're in council meeting now, so we'd have to
We have to add it to the agenda.
close council meeting or add it. Yeah.
Add to the agenda.
It would probably be easier if you guys just adjourn this meeting and we just go back into work session.
Agree.
Okay.
Yeah, quickly. Yeah. Okay. Sorry for this.
Okay. Mr. Deputy?
Actually, nothing. Actually, I'm feeling good.
The city attorney?
Nothing this either, Mr. Mayor.
All right. D1?
Good.
District 2?
Just to say, stay healthy, even though some limitations and restrictions are being lifted in the city. Stay healthy, stay wise, because the pandemic has not been lifted and people are still dying. So be safe.
Good deal. District 3?
I echo those sentiments as well. Just we found out we've got family members in ICU positive with COVID. I don't know where this idea comes from that we're just immune somehow. So keep everybody's family in prayers, not just mine, but everybody's. And also, please, please, please fill out your census. If you've done so, tell a neighbor and a friend to fill theirs out. We need to get this census back in any way we can. So stay safe and please complete your census.
All right, District 4.
Picking up right there. With the census, our number is about 49.6%. It seems like we're kind of holding right around 50%. And we got to do something to kick it up. And I'm working with the apartments right now to get them to do a blast for all of their tenants. And one thing that I have discovered is that people don't want to participate because they don't trust the government. So if we can convince them that they can stick it to the government by participating, I think we can go somewhere. So that's going to be the new push. Stick it to the government by participating. Count everybody in your house and get all your friends to participate. And that'll show the government. So.
All right. D5.
Okay, a couple of things. You know, Chuck Road is special to me. I am working now with a couple of residents to see how we can get that huge Evans Mill townhomes out to do the census piece. Don't know, Mayor, you might have to give me another couple of boxes of masks so I can sit out and do it before they get on the bus or something like that. Not sure, just still working towards that, because those are some of the numbers we're looking for. And the sign is still up at the bus stop for the census there. Yeah. So the next thing would be, it totally went away. So I guess that's it. I don't know. We'll let it go. But oh, no. Also, with my sorority, Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, I am working on a service project that includes both census and voting. And so I'm finding a lot of people have done their census, but getting those ballots back, I'm getting a lot of questions about the process and whether or not trust the absentee ballot. So we're still talking about voting and encouraging people to vote and do the census. So that's it.
I'll close by telling each of you all that we're sustaining. Actually, we're doing well in the industrial park. We're doing exceptionally well in the housing market, but we are struggling commercially. So the three legs of the revenue stool for us, particularly starting in 2021, commercial, residential, industrial. The industrial park is carrying us. They're doing a fantastic job. And our economic development director and business development director, senior economic development director, the bigs, Clarence Boone and Will Settle, the dividends that you all will see them pay for 2021 will be something special. We'll grow as a city, in my estimate, if we do the math right, I'll give a range now because of COVID, between $9 and $10 million as we are budget today. And collecting the taxes properly from next year from the DeKalb County will be a $15 to $17 million a year city. And in 2022, if we continue to grow from there, we'll approach $25 million. I know exactly where we're going. And we have the index for it. We have the millage rate for it. And while other people are shrinking, we are growing. So we're taking good care of the citizens' money, and we're doing a really good job collectively for branding our city. So having said that, everybody stay safe. Still continue to stay out of people's way. I don't know what folks are thinking. We need to get people out of the South River and other places here in the lake in Stonecrest. I pass by these parks and there's just 1,000 folks out there. So I'm just perplexed as to what is happening with this. So with that, I'll take a motion for adjournment.
Mr. Mayor.
Sir.
Move for adjournment.
All right, properly moved.
Second.
And second. D1.
Mm-hmm.
D2.
Aye.
D3.
Aye.
D4.
Aye.
D5.
Aye.
Mayor. Aye. Thank you, folks. We will revert back to the work session. And actually, we touched on number 4. We can actually go back to number 4 and finish it up and do 5 and 6. I'll restate what I stated before. Based on our position today and what we're doing, and in light of some information that's been shared in, of course, executive summary, I want council to consider doing 2 options with our internal auditing services for 2020, either month to month or a 6-month contract from the rest of the year, from June to December. And I understand that you need a copy of his contract, and I'm sure that Mr. Thibodeau and the city clerk can provide that. But that would be my comments and my thoughts for item number 4. The floor is open.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Okay. There was also the possibility of a full-time position, maybe being discussed. I'm not sure if now is the time or not, but with this contract, once we take a look at the outlay of the existing contract, we will be in a position to vote on this perhaps within the next 30 days or less.
We should vote on the next meeting.
Okay.
That will be my take.
Okay.
And as we vote on that, Mayor, so we're not going to look at a full-time, and I guess, internal audit until what, 2021? Sometime during the year while we have this month to month if we approve that.
I think it should be both, Councilman. I think we should take a hard look at it between now and the end of the year while we can judge it from Mr. Thibodeau.
All right.
And then, take our position from there.
Okay.
All right. So, Mr. Thibodeau, if you haven't already done so, you send your proposed contract to Mayor, Council, and Ms. Reed, and then we'll go from there.
Okay.
Mr. Denmark. All right. Development. Status of committee assignments. I have been contending, folks, that and still do. I want to wait until we come back, face-to-face sessions, to be able to make those assignments. I don't see where we won't be able to do that in the next 30 to 45 days, depending upon how council feels about, when we return, and then move forward from there.
I say that there are some committees that are really critical, particularly the Finance Committee, that we have some input from the Finance Committee. And let me also notify council, and I will send you in writing what we call a district committee. That can be done by a single council person. And I want to establish that because of what's happening in District 4 in terms of an overlay. So we're going to do the District 4 overlay assignment, and I'll send that notice to all council members.
So noted.
Mayor Larry, let me ask you, when I came aboard, there was one committee person that you told me had to wait until June. Do you want to talk to me about that here, or is that something we need to have conversation about elsewhere?
Yeah, we'll take it offline, because we'll take it offline, if you don't mind.
As long as our date hadn't changed.
Okay. All right. Municode development.
Municode development, Municode would allow us to take all of our codes and ordinances and everything else and compile them like an encyclopedia, for one of a better description. And if you're looking for any code or any ordinance, you merely type in the keywords and it takes you directly to it, and all the details surrounding it when it was enacted, and exactly how the ordinance functions. So that was brought up over a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago. And I know at one point the city clerk said that this had been set into motion, and it has not been completed. So we're just trying to find out where do we stand with that development of the Unicodes. I believe we may have either partially paid for it or paid for it. So that is my, well, that's my question. Where do we stand?
Mayor, may I speak? The last that I heard about Municode, Chris Wheeler and I both spoke with, I believe it was their legal team, and Chris might want to weigh in on this, but we went over the zoning portion of it. And that was back in December or January of this year, and we haven't heard anything back. So I'll send them an email to see where they are with this. Chris, did you want to chime in?
Yeah, so last thing I heard from was they were doing, after we did our initial first review of the update, they were going to come back again and reassess the corrections that we had suggested to them. And we have not heard back from them since then, because I know we went over it through multiple times. I know me and Megan sat down on a conference call, probably maybe a week's worth of comments that we went through with the contractor on Municode. Again, she stated that she was going to go back through our comments and adjust, and they resubmitted to us again to make sure that everything was clean up for Municode's mapping. Since then, we have not heard from them regarding that.
And this is critical, because when I look up items, I go to the DeKalb County's Municodes. And we just went through. Maybe I'm looking at something that doesn't apply to us. But if we can get our own Municodes, and we can know that we're looking at what actually belongs to us, then it is accurate. So I just want to keep that in the pipeline, that this is very, very critical that we get this in place as a tool that we can all use to be prepared for city council meeting with accurate information as it relates to Stonecrest.
To back you on that, Councilman George Turner, I love Municode. I miss having Municode, and I will be happy for us to have Municode, and I'm ready to jump on board with it as much as you are, because it really is a time saver.
Yes.
Are we looking at Municode for everything, or just planning and zoning, or zoning ordinances?
Our entire ordinance book will be on there.
Okay.
Okay,
good. And we, so make sure I understood you correctly, we have started at least that process of getting it all on there with them. It looks like in 2019, we budgeted to spend 20 grand. Have we paid them? And we're still waiting for that product to be given to us? Or?
So, I know that we had to pay them an invoice in March of like $4,000, but I really can't. I have slept since then, so I'd have to look it up.
Okay. Do you remember what their quote was for putting everything on there, like the entire thing? Was it 20? Did we budget enough? Was it less than that?
I believe 20,000 would have been sufficient, because that's the same price they usually give everybody, is right about 20,000. But I will double check those figures.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. Anybody else on Municode? Anybody else? All right. Good deal. So we'll follow up from there. Okay. That looks like that completes our city council work session. Is there any more comments? All right. Seeing none, I'll take a motion for dismissal.
Motion to adjourn, Mr. Mayor.
Second.
Moved in second. D1?
Aye.
D2? That's you, Rob. D2. You're on mute.
Get off.
I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm sorry.
You about to be here by yourself.
I am hungry. That's what I is.
Aye.
Aye.
D5.
Aye.
D6. That's Mayor. All right. Have a good evening. Thank you.
Be safe, everybody. Take care. Make sure you put this on.